There is a moment in every person's life when they realize something unsettling. They know many things, but they master nothing. We live in an age where information floats freely, yet wisdom slips through our fingers. People start 10 skills, abandon 9, and convince themselves they didn't have the talent for the one they kept. But there was a time when mastery was not a mystery. It followed a pattern, precise, demanding, ancient. The Japanese called it Shuhari, 3 stages, 1 path. A transformation that begins in obedience and ends in formless intuition. This is the story of a wanderer who walked that path. Not in a dojo, not in a temple, but across mountains, forests, and forgotten villages. Guided by 3 masters who taught him the invisible architecture of mastery. 1. The Wanderer Without Direction. In the northern provinces, before the age of peace settled over Japan, lived a young drifter named Kyle. He was not running toward anything. He was running from the feeling of being ordinary. Kyle had tried to apprentice as a carpenter, a fisherman, a messenger, even a storyteller. He started with enthusiasm, but always left when progress slowed. His mind was quick, but his discipline dissolved as soon as boredom or difficulty appeared. One winter evening, after failing yet another apprenticeship, Kyle sat beside a dying fire in an abandoned barn. Snow drifted in through broken boards. He stared at his hands, calloused from many beginnings, shaped by no mastery. For the first time, the truth struck him. I can walk for years and learn nothing. I can work for decades and become no one. He felt the cold weight of it settle into his bones. That night he made a vow. He would leave the town of his failures and wander until he found a true path. Not another skill, not another distraction, a path that could change him. 2. The First Master, the Guardian of Forms. After weeks of wandering, Kyle reached a remote forest village where an elderly woodworker lived. Locals called him Master Sore. Sore carved ceremonial staffs so precise in their proportions that monks traveled across provinces to buy them. Some said he could feel the grain of a tree before cutting into it. Kyle watched the old master shaping a staff outside his workshop, each movement slow and deliberate. Sore's hands seemed to breathe with the wood. Kyle bowed deeply. Master, I seek discipline. Teach me your craft. Sore studied him silently, then pointed to a pile of rough branches. If you stay, he said, you will begin by cutting these into identical lengths. No carving, no shaping, just this. Kyle thought it was beneath him, but he had vowed to commit, so he agreed. For the first 3 days he worked diligently. On the 4th, he tried to adjust his technique on his own, changing angles, altering rhythm. Sore approached and picked up one of Kyle's pieces. You have not cut these the same, he said. Why? Kyle hesitated. I thought I could improve the process. Sore tapped the wood sharply. You came to learn, not to invent. Not yet. He drew a small circle in the dirt. This is Shu, he said. Obedience, the death of your improvised self. So began Kyle's first real training. Every morning he cut identical blocks. Every afternoon he copied Sore's stance, grip and breath without a single deviation. Every mistake restarted the daily count. Weeks passed. Kyle's shoulders ached, his hands blistered, his mind screamed for novelty. But beneath the frustration, something new awakened. Consistency, presence, stillness inside motion. One evening, after nearly 2 months, Sore handed him a partially carved staff. Finish this, he said. exactly as I would. Kyle felt something shift inside him. The movements flowed without hesitation. The wood guided his hand instead of resisting it. His breathing matched the rhythm naturally, without thought. Sore nodded. You have learned the first gate. When form enters the body, the mind can finally grow. Kyle realized that for the first time in his life, repetition had not bored him, it had transformed him. But Sore was not his final teacher. One morning the master said simply, "You must leave. Shu is complete. Another teacher will show you what comes next." And with that, Sore handed him a map marked with a single symbol, a river curling like a question. Kyle began his journey again. 3. The second master, the one who broke every rule. The map led Kyle through valleys and across a river until he reached a plateau where travelers spoke of a strange hermit. This hermit, known only as Area, lived alone in a hut made of driftwood and bones. Unlike Sore's workshop filled with order and symmetry, Area's home looked like chaos made visible. Kyle approached carefully. "I was sent by Master Sore. I seek the next stage." Area laughed, a short, sharp sound. "Sore teaches rules. I teach what rules cannot hold." She placed a curved knife in Kyle's hand. "Cut the branch behind you." Kyle turned, assumed Sore's stance, and prepared to strike. "Wrong," she snapped. "You cling to forms like a child clutching a blanket. Again, but differently." For days, Kyle attempted simple cuts, only to be told each time, "No, again." Too rigid, too predictable. You're repeating Sore, not expressing yourself. Confusion built inside him. Finally, Iria tossed a branch into the air. "Cut it before it hits the ground." Kyle froze. "But that's not the form." "Forms are prisons," she interrupted. "You learned them. Good. Now forget them." This was breaking. Not rebellion, she said, but fluid adaptation. Not abandoning fundamentals, but seeing beneath them. Under Iria, Kyle learned to move differently on uneven terrain, to adjust grip based on wind and weight, to change rhythm in mid-motion, to feel intention rather than memorize steps. He learned to sense tension in his body before it became stiffness, to cut not as a sequence, but as a response. One afternoon while sparring with Iria, Kyle reacted to her feint with a move neither teacher had shown him, a cut that blended Sore's precision with Iria's fluid unpredictability. He blinked in surprise. "I didn't plan that." Iria smiled for the first time. "Ha is complete. You finally understand the reasons behind form. Only now can you break it without becoming broken." Before he left, she said, "There is one more master, but he will not teach you. Not in the way you expect." She pointed Kale toward the southern mountains. "The last stage of Shuhari is not given, it is discovered." 4th, the third master, the one without teachings. The mountains were harsh. Wind tore at Kyle's clothing. Snowstorms forced him into caves for shelter. Days turned into weeks. Food ran low. Doubt returned. At the edge of exhaustion, Kyle stumbled into a valley where an elderly man meditated beside a solitary tree. He had no tools, no followers, no signs of being a teacher. Kyle bowed weakly. "I was told. The last stage waits here." The old man opened his eyes. "I am Master Rukan," he said, "but I do not teach techniques. If you expect instruction, you will fail." Kyle frowned. "What should I do then?" Rukan stood and gestured to the empty valley. Live, train, respond to what happens. And he walked away. Kyle waited. No lesson came. He chopped wood to stay warm. He practiced cuts to maintain skill. He sparred with wind, trees, shadows, anything that offered resistance. But no master corrected him. No one said good or wrong. Weeks passed in a blur of repetition and silence. Kyle's thoughts grew quieter. Movements became instinctive. Correction emerged from within rather than from guidance. One afternoon, wolves descended from the ridge, 3 of them, driven by hunger. Kyle's heart pounded, but no conscious plan formed. His body simply moved. A sidestep he'd never practiced. A redirect born of pure necessity. A cut that had no name. When it ended, the wolves fled, and Kyle stood steady, breathing slow, body alive, mind empty. Rukan watched from a distance. "You have entered Re," he said softly. Kyle felt the truth in his bones. Re was not technique. Re was not adaptation. Re was a return to nature, the dissolving of separation between situation, body, breath, and action. The silent mastery that Musashi spoke of. The movement without mover. 5. The final understanding. Kyle remained with Rukan through the passing of seasons, not to learn new techniques, but to understand something deeper. The path was never about woodwork, or cutting, or even skill. It was about who he had become. Shu had burned away his impatience and ego. Ha had freed him from rigidity and fear of being wrong. Re had united mind and body into a single presence. One evening, as they sat beside the tree where they first met, Kyle asked, "Master, what is the meaning of mastery?" Rukan answered, "When the world moves, you move with it. When nothing is certain, you remain steady. When technique disappears, truth appears." Kyle bowed, not to a teacher, but to the path that had shaped him. The next morning, Rukan was gone. Only footprints in the frost remained. 6. The wanderer becomes a guide. Kyle eventually returned to the world, not as a woodworker, not as a warrior, but as a man whose presence alone carried weight. People asked him, "How many techniques do you know?" He answered, "None and all." They asked him, "How long did it take to master them?" He replied, "A lifetime and a moment." Some thought he was being poetic, others sensed he was speaking literally. Because for Kyle, Shuhari had become more than a method. It had become the architecture of his mind. He taught only those who truly sought the path, and to each he said, "You will want to skip Shu. You will rush through Ha. You will try to imitate Re. But mastery does not bend to impatience. There is no shortcut. Only transformation, and those who listened changed. 7. The path inside you. Kyle's journey is not about swords or carving wood. It is the blueprint for mastery in anything. Shu, bow your head, imitate, build foundations so deep they outlast discouragement. Ha, break forms, adapt, see principles hidden beneath technique. Re, let go, respond, become part of the moment instead of trying to control it. You may think you are seeking a skill, but Shuhari transforms the seeker first. The question is not whether the path works. The question is, will you walk it? Or wander your whole life collecting beginnings instead of becoming someone new?